everyone, Janie here, and today not only am I going to show you how to make this adorable little chunky album, but I'm also going to put a link here on the screen to VectoriaDesigns video where you can download this kit for free. It is a printable kit. It has everything you need. All you have to do is print it, cut it out, and put it together. So let's get started. The kit comes with 7 pages, including the cover and all of the pockets that are going inside of it, and all of the layers that you're going to need. And it's just beautiful. Isn't that just gorgeous? I love it. And it also comes with these inserts. And besides these 7 pages of all of the pre-printed things that you're going to need, it also comes with a print on the back design. So you get this, which is really pretty, and that way when you cut out these inserts, it will have this on the back. And I've also printed that on the back of this so that the cover will have that on the back. As you can see, the cover also has it around the edges because when you cut out these pieces, they will be layered on there and you'll just see that around the edge. But this way the back of the cover also has some coloring on it, which is perfect. But I didn't put it on the back of the other things, and you could put it on the back of everything if you wanted to. But like I said, I just put it on the back of a couple of things. And now I'm going to go cut all of these out, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got everything cut out. It was fairly easy. Especially these pieces that I could cut out with my paper trimmer, and then some of it had to be fussy cut. And I'm quite proud of myself for doing a good job on cutting out the 7 pockets because look at that. Looks great, right? And that was 7 of them stacked together. So they really made it easy when they designed this. Really easy to cut out. And then there's these little circles, which you'll see what they are for later. But they are the perfect size to use a 5/8 inch hole punch. So all of that is done, and now even though the edges already look inked, you all know me, I love to ink edges, especially because I want to hide the white of the cardstock. So even though like this one has coloring on both sides, so it's really not that much of an issue, but even when something has coloring on it, the edges are always white. And so usually I like using something like vintage photo or gathered twigs, but today I'm going to be using frayed burlap just because I thought it was a good match for this. And so I'm not going to make you watch, but I am going to tell you that I am going to go through and ink the edges of every single piece of this, which will take a while, but that's okay. I love inking edges, and it's that easy. So I'll be back. Okay, I inked these first because I'm going to be adding some liquid glass to them. But I wanted to let you know that that's actually not what these are for. These are supposed to be for closures for those little envelope pockets. And so you attach them with a brad and then you use twine to wrap around them for a closure. But that's not what I'm doing. So I'm doing something else with them, as you will see, and I want to add liquid glass to them. And there you go, liquid glass, which is kind of like glossy accents. And you know, it's hard to do when these are moving all over and you're trying to put it, put the liquid glass on there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run these through my Xyron, and I will show you. Hold on a second here, pull a couple of them through. The reason for that, well, there's 2 reasons for that. One, it will give me an adhesive backing on these. The other reason is because it will hold them in place while I am putting the liquid glass on there. And that is a plus, let me tell you. So I'm just stuffing them in here really quick so I can show you. And there we go. Let me pull that out and tear that off. Okay, so now I have them on here, And I am not going to put the liquid glass on camera, but I just wanted to show you what I was doing and why. So you peel this off. If you're not familiar with a Xyron, they're awesome. And so now these aren't coming off. They're not going anywhere until I peel them off because they have the adhesive on the back. So that way, when I'm using my liquid glass, it's just going to stay right in place. It's not going to go moving all over the place. So I'm going to go add liquid glass to these, and they're going to sit overnight, and then I will show you what they look like and how I'm going to use them. Okay, so I have all the edges of everything inked, and it's time to start scoring. And I'm going to be starting with the cover. But before I do, I want to point out that if you don't have a scoreboard, you can always use a ruler and a pen that doesn't write, and then you can just line it up where the score lines are supposed to be and do that. But I'm going to be using my scoreboard, and I'm going to line these up. I happen to have a line I've drawn right down here, down the middle, and so I'm just going to line things up just like that and score it right there. It's really nice that they have those dark lines there. That's basically your score lines. Okay, so the cover is scored and ready to put together. And you'll notice that on this piece there's this section right here, and that is where we are going to be adding some double-sided tape. You can use you know, a wet glue, a glue stick. I'm actually going to fold that right there so I get it in the right spot. But I'm choosing to use double-sided tape, and I'm actually going to use a little bit of glue with it as well. So get that on there, and you know what, let me trim this off on this side. Grab my scissors here. There we go. Didn't need that little extra piece there. Okay, so you want to get that as close to the fold as you can, and I've got that peeled off. I'm just going to add a couple of dots of my beacon because it will give me some wiggle room if I make a mistake, and also because I think it holds better than the double-sided tape. So I kind of have a little bit of both here. And we are going to bring this in, and this is where I'm going to end up sticking my head in front of the camera probably, and put it right up against the fold. So you don't want to put it over the fold, but you want to put it right up against it. And make sure that you are even top and bottom, which is really, there we go, really difficult for me if I don't have my head right on it. Okay. Oh yeah, I got it. Yay! Okay, so now the cover is put together, and it's going to fold like this. Let me turn it over this way. So it's going to fold in, and that piece that we just put on is going to go across the front, just like that. And I forgot that there is something else that I wanted to do. Oh my gosh, give me a second. I wanted to round the corners because these corners are rounded, and I thought that would really, you know, look good having the outside corners rounded as well. So let me just round these, and then of course I'm going to have to ink them again. So let me grab my ink right here. Okay, I've got all of the front panels, and I remembered to round these outside corners as well and ink them. And one thing that's really important is make sure all of your panels are facing the right direction, because you don't want to get them on there and find out that you have one upside down. So I have them all lined up so that I know that they're in the right position, the right size, because this one is smaller than this one. And so I have it all ready to go, and I'm going to be putting it on with my Beacon 3-in-1. You can always use double-sided tape, totally up to you. And I'm not going to be putting all of the panels on because I will be adding a ribbon tie that I'm going to attach to this panel and this panel. But I want to get the other ones on first, especially this one, because I didn't want to accidentally get the ribbon in the way of that one. So, okay, so now before I go any further, I'm going to be adding the ribbon for the ribbon tie. And so I'm going to be using this. It's kind of a pale beigey with some gold down the center of it. And I've cut about 1 foot. That's actually how much Tina used in her video. And you may need less, but I'm using 1 foot. And I'm going to be using some double-sided tape. Just tear off a piece. I'm going to stick it right here in the center. And I'll figure out my exact center here in a minute. But for right now, I am just sticking this on over here as well. And then I'm going to figure out the center because you know what? I'm a little slow. I do things afterwards. Ooh, can't see that ruler. Okay, hold on. I'm going to pull it off here a minute because this ruler happens to have a 0 for the center. And let me line that up. Oh, wow. How cool is that? That actually is pretty much the center. Okay, so let me move this back over here. And I am going to remove this. I'm going to turn this over for a minute and just make sure that these are both meeting up in the same area. Oh, yay, they are. Okay, back to where I was. All right, so now I'm just going to put those 2 pieces on, and that will cover that up, and we will be done with the outside of this. And the outside is complete and so beautiful. And it's going to fold like this. So this is going to fold in, then this is going to fold over, and it's going to tie, and it's a chunky little book. Okay, so now that the outside is done, it's time to do the inside. And just like on the outside, you need to lay out your pieces to make sure that they are all going the right direction. For example, this design right here, you could easily grab a piece and turn it the wrong way, and then you've got this pattern going one way and this going another, and I don't think you would be happy with that. So I've got everything lined up and ready to go, and I even remembered to round the corners on those. So I'm going to be adding these and these, but I'm not going to be adding this one yet. It's going to go in the middle, but not yet. So I'm going to set it aside, and I'm going to go ahead and glue these on, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I've got those pieces glued in, and after I did that, I decided I want to ink all of the little the folds. So I should have done that before, but it's not too late to do it afterwards. And you know, this is just optional, just like you know, rounding the edges is optional and inking is also optional. It, you know, may not be for everyone, but I'm going to go ahead and ink all of these edges, and then we're going to move on to the next step. But look at that. See what a difference that makes between that side and that side? Looks so much better, don't you think? Okay, I've got all of the little pockets folded, and I saved the last one to show you. So what I'm going to do is, I really like using this line that I have going here. If you don't have one on your scoreboard, it wouldn't hurt to draw one on there. And so what I'm going to do is, I am lining up this section, and hold on, as soon as I get it lined up, I will show you. Okay, I am lining up this inside score line, which also matches this one right here. and so it matches up down here as well. And I am just going to, and actually hold on, I want to really make sure I'm lined up. This is really difficult to do, for me anyways, on camera. And I just really want to make sure I have it just right. Okay, so lined up and just going down all the way down to the other end. And I'm going to do that twice. I am using 110-pound cardstock, so I really want to make sure that the line is there. Now, I'm not going to move this, okay? This is staying right where it's at. I am moving over one line to the 1/8 inch mark, so that would be like 5 5/8, or no, wait, 5 7/8 if you're coming from this direction. But basically just over one line and bringing that right down and scoring that tab again right there on the second score line, because it is 1/8 of an inch from the first one. And you just come over and fold those in like so. And so what you have here on the side, I don't know if you can see that really good, but you have like an 1/8 inch, I don't know what you'd call that. My natural instinct here is to call it, you know, the spine, but that's not what it is. Okay, now I need to do this side, so I'm opening it back up and again aligning that up and just making sure that everything is lined up perfectly, because I'm a perfectionist. And just follow that line down for that tab. Okay, we fold that in. And the really nice thing is that there is still coloring on either side, so it's not like you're folding and seeing a white line here, and I really like that with this. Okay, so folding this down so that I have a straight line across the top, which makes it easy to line up, I am just going to line this up for that score line, making sure everything is straight. And again, I'm just going to follow that line all the way down. I'm going to move this over and I am going to line that up right there. And there we go. We have everything scored, everything folds, everything's perfect, and in a little while I will show you how these go together, because this isn't exactly how it goes together. Okay, now we're going to start working on the pockets. And one of the things I wanted to point out is there is a little piece to go on the inside of the flap, like so, and it matches the one on the outside. But you can get crazy and mix and match, it doesn't matter. I just wanted to point that out to you. And also, for the closure method that I'm going to be using, it doesn't matter that I put this on ahead of time. But if you're using the closure method that Tina uses with the little circles and the brads and the string, then you need to do that before you put this on. And I'm going to have her video linked, so don't worry, you'll get to see her tutorial so you can see a different way of doing this. But I just wanted to point this out to you because we are going to be adding these on all of these pockets. But before I do, because when the pocket is closed, there's still a little bit of white that shows. Plus, you know how I inked the fold in the cover? I'm going to do that here too. So what I'm going to do is, for all of these pockets, I'm going to go ahead and fold this and ink that, and then ink a little bit below it so that it won't be white when you open it up. So I'm going to go do that, and I'll be right back. And then when it closes, that's what you're going to see. So much better, right? Okay, so I'm going to go do that to all of these, and then I'm going to come back and I'll glue one of these on so that you can see me do that. And then we'll move on to putting them all together. Now, what you should do is line it up and fold it, and you can see well, you can kind of see that it is a little bit too long. So what you do is just take your scissors or your paper trimmer and just trim right along that edge. And then I'm going to ink it again. Oh, it looks like I need a little bit more ink on here. So I'm going to ink that again. And then we're going to put it on. I'm also going to show you, hopefully, maybe, another little trick. So let me glue this on. Because what I was going to tell you is that if you glue this on and you discover that you have a little bit of the white showing, that things didn't match up exactly right, it was the wrong size, you can either trim that white part off, and I had to do that with a couple of mine, and then ink it. Now, obviously I'm inking crazy, so I ink everything, but you don't have to. I'm just suggesting that that is something you can do. So here we go. Don't know if you can see it. There's a little bit of white showing right there, and I'm just going to take my scissors, clip that off, and ink it. And nobody will ever know. So there we go. Now, next, we're going to be putting our double-sided tape on all of these flaps. And what I wanted to tell you about that is that, first of all, you don't have to use double-sided tape. That's what I'm choosing to use. The other thing is I'm using 1/4 inch on all of this, even though these two flaps you could use 1/2 inch, but not on this one, because remember we have 2 score lines on this one. The first one is right over here, and then this one, which gives it that, hold on a second here, let me get it just right, gives you that little extra space in our pocket. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of push that so that the only score line is that one. There's no more score lines on this side, it's on the other side. So we're using the last score line, and then we're going to take our double-sided tape, and we're going to, like that way, I keep saying we, I'm the one doing it, I'm going to put that right along that fold, not on the fold, but right up against it. And there's still room here, but there wasn't enough for a 1/2 inch, but there is on these. But I'm doing it this way just because I don't want to keep switching back and forth between one tape and the other. So I'm just doing this and putting it right here along that fold, and then when the time comes I'm going to actually use a little of my Beacon 3-in-1. But I have all of these done, and now it's time to move on to the next step. Okay, so I am lining these up from right to left, starting with 1, 2, 3, and so on. And I'm going to actually move these out of the way for right now, and we're going to start with the first 2. So this is the one that has the 2 score lines, okay? But the tape ends right at that score line. And what we're going to do is we are going to line these up like so and glue them together. Okay, so we're going to remove this strip right here. And I'm actually going to be adding a little beacon because I like that wiggle room and the extra hold. And lining them up, I'm going to have it under my nose. So we'll pull that off and bend that little excess. If you ever have little excess, just bend it over on itself on the double-sided tape. Okay, let's see here. I'm just going to add some glue there and line it up right next to where that score line is. You don't want to go over it. We're going to call that good. All right, we're not using these yet, so don't worry about removing that and gluing things together there. But we are gluing them together just like that, and so you can see that it's still got that little fold here on the side, or that little space, that 1/8 inch space. Okay, so I'm going to do that all the way across. Okay, I'm going to do the same thing on the next one. I'm going to remove that backing and line this up, and I'm going to glue that on there. And then I'm going to take number 4 and I'm going to do the same thing all the way across to number 7. Okay, I'm almost done working on the last one right here, and thought I'd show you one more time. So I remove that protective layer, and I'm putting the glue where that double-sided tape did not reach, so right around that edge, and then a couple spots in the middle. And that is going to help me make sure that I have things lined up. It's going to give me that wiggle room that I needed, and hopefully I don't get my head in the middle of the screen here so you can see what I'm doing instead of watching my head. Okay, there we go. And you see that there's an extra one, and you go, well, what is that hooked to? Because we don't have another, another pocket. Well, you'll see that in a little bit. And now that they are all glued together, we are going to turn it over, and we're going to start putting the pockets together. So I'm going to get all of our little flaps all facing this direction, because we're going to need them all on the inside here. Hello, there we go. And one more. All right, so what I'm going to do is, there we go. Got to see the difference between the two of them. Make sure I'm not grabbing that one for this one. All right, so I am going to, I'm going to check something first. Hold on a second. Yep. I do not like that at all because it's showing a little bit of white. Okay, hold on a second. The inking lady is going to ink some more. I could have printed the whole back side of these like I did with, hold on, I'm going to reach across here, like I did with these, but I just thought that was a waste considering that very little is going to show. So I'm just going to ink right here on these. Wow, didn't even need that much. Let's put my little blender this direction. Okay, so now when we fold it in, it'll look like that. Much better. Let me get it all the way down here to the end on these. Okay, so I'm going to do that to all of these, but for right now, I'm going to set my ink aside and get started on this just so you can see what we're doing. So for each of these, I'm going to go ahead and remove, not you. Make sure that this one is out. This is number 7. We need this little flap out, so don't let it get in the way. All right. Let me do this. And you know what? I probably should do that too. Just in case that's something that's going to show. All right. So getting this off here, and as usual, I am still going to add a little bit of glue just to give me some wiggle room in case I don't get it in the right place, because you do have to make sure that all of these are even, that everything is going to land where it's supposed to. And I believe that this is landing where it's supposed to. So I'll call that good. And since I've already inked that side, I can do this one. And I'm going to do this all the way across. And again, you don't have to use double-sided tape. You can use, a liquid glue. And if you don't want to ink everything like I'm doing, you can always just leave it white, or you can, print that paper on the other side. Okay, let me just put this up. Making sure that everything is landing where it's supposed to. And I believe it is. Okay, so this is creating the little pockets, and I'm going to go through and I'm going to ink all of those spaces, and I'm going to glue all of these in place, and I'll be back. So there are a variety of ways to create closures for this, and you don't even have to create a closure if you don't want to, or you can use magnets. I thought of that, but then I thought so many magnets so close together may make this impossible to open. You can do what Tina shows in her video if you watch it, which is the kind with a little circle here and a circle here, and then you wrap the string around it. Or you can do it the way I'm going to do it. I am going to be using Velcro. So, first thing I want to do is grab a bone folder, and I do want to go over each of these just to give them a little bit better crease than they have. Because with everything that we've been doing, these have been 20 different directions, and none of them have been the direction that they need to go. Okay, so what I'm going to be doing is I have these Velcro strips, can't even talk straight. They come as a set, so one side has the fuzzy, one side has the part that grabs it, and then they go together like that. And they have an adhesive on them already, but I'm going to add a little bit of this, maybe. I'm not sure. I want it to stick right away, so maybe I won't use that, but it's an option, okay? It's an option. So the way that this works is I'm going to peel one off of one side, and I'm going to attach it to the other one, and I'm going to grab my scissors and trim off this extra little fuzz that I've got going there. Okay, and now I'm going to peel this one off. So they're really way sticky, so I think it'll be just fine without the glue. And I don't even remember which way I have it, but I am going to stick this where I'm hoping is the middle, and then I am going to fold it down and press it. And I'm not sure how long it needs that pressure to make sure that it holds really well, but I'm going to be doing that with all of these. So again, I'm going to peel off one of these, stick it on there, peel that off, and again find what I think looks like the center. You don't want to get it too close to the bottom because it'll stick to the inside here. So I'm hoping I didn't get the first one too close to the bottom, but we're going to call that the center because it's already stuck. And bring it down. Okay, I'm going to do that all the way across, and then I'm going to come back because you remember those circles, and I put liquid glass on them. Oh my gosh, they look so beautiful, like little buttons, and I love them. Anyways, they look beautiful with the liquid glass, and I'm going to be putting one of those on the front right here of each of these. So I'll be back once I have the Velcro on all of those. Okay, all the Velcro is on, and it opens and closes just like that. And now it's time to add these pretty little buttons, is what I'm going to call them, right here to the center. And basically I'm just going to eyeball it. Actually, I think I'm going to add a drop of glue to the center, just for an extra, just a little extra. Just a drop, not covering the whole back. And I'm just going to guess where the center is. And hopefully it's right about where the Velcro is. And I'm going to be putting this, or these, not this, all the way along this strip here on every pocket. And then I'll come back and we will put this together in the little in the cover. So there we go. Those are so beautiful. Okay, I'm going to do all of the rest of these and I'll be back. Okay, this is done. And now it's time to fold it. I'm going to start with number 1, and we're just going to do an accordion fold back and forth for this. And this is what it looks like on this side, and this is what it looks like on that side. And now it's time to adhere it into the album cover. So we have this last piece of glass flap right here, and what we're going to do is we are going to just adhere it right there, right up against that fold. Not on the fold, but up against it. So I'm just going to remove the double-sided tape, and again I need a little bit of glue to give me some wiggle room. And it doesn't hurt to have the extra adhesive on there, but I definitely need the extra wiggle room. So I'm going to turn it this way, try to not stick my head under there. Okay, you didn't need to see the back of my head, and by the time I got down there it was already adhered. But what you really want to do is try to get this top and bottom lined up with these panels right here. And then this all folds up into here like so, and it's nice and chunky, but that's why this album was so chunky, so that it holds it all beautifully, just like that. And then you just tie it together, and you probably don't need near as much ribbon as I used, but I would rather have too much ribbon that I can trim off afterwards than not have enough and wish I had more. So I could leave that on there, or I could trim it down a little bit on each side and it will be perfect. So there we go, but I'm not done. I'm going to add something else to the front, but before I do, I wanted to take you back inside for a minute because we're not done. We still have to add this panel right there, and look at that, I've already turned it the wrong direction. Remember I said to make sure that everything is facing the right way? Okay, now I have it facing the right way, and I'm going to glue this on the inside, and that will be the finishing touch. Well, for the inside, I still have something I want to add to the outside, but I also wanted to show you something else, because we have all of those little inserts that you can use to you know, write on. Okay, let me make sure it's right direction or right direction. Okay, get this on here. I can't talk and concentrate at the same time, guys. Just bear with me. Okay. Just okay. I think I got it in there. There we go. And what I wanted to talk to you about was, wait a minute, a few other things that come with this kit. And it's all optional. So one of the things are these inserts. And you can write messages on them, stamp, you know, sentiments on them, and you can put them into the pockets. Another thing that you can do with these, if you wanted to give them to the person, you know, that's getting this, and when it's done, maybe they want to cover up the side that has the numbers and use this to put a photograph on or something. And so there's enough of these that can be put all the way through here and used to put a photo or do journaling or whatever. So there's a variety of possibilities, and if you didn't want these numbers on here, before you give it to the person it's going to, you can also use those to cover them up. So it's versatile, whether it's going to be something special that they open, you know, one of the pockets each day for a week, which is kind of special, you know, they have something to look for every day, whether it's a gift card or a sentiment or a picture or whatever you decide to put in there. So these little inserts that come with it have so many possibilities. You can even put it on that way. So many possibilities. And that's not the only thing. It also comes with these little corner pockets, and you can just glue those right there or use double-sided tape. And the same thing on this other side that we just glued in. We can just put it there like that. And I think that's what I'm going to do. But it's an option, okay? It is an option. And I'm going to go grab my double-sided tape and get these put in. Now, instead of putting the pockets there, you might want to put a picture, or you might want to put something else there, you know, a sentiment. The pockets are optional. I happen to like the pockets, so I'm going to put them in because I just think that they're really pretty. But I just wanted you to know that it is an option. And this kit has so many options. Another one that I want to share with you while I am doing this is that what if you love this kit and you want to, oh, I should have rounded that corner. Hold on a second. Okay, back to what I was telling you. Is what if you want to make more of these, but you don't want to use this particular paper? Well, I have a suggestion. Use it as a template. Print out one, and you don't have to print out all the pages because you only need one of the pockets for the template. So print out what you need and create a template that you can use by laying it on different paper, tracing around it, and cutting it out. So I just wanted to share that with you, only because I thought of it myself, that, oh, I love this so much, but what if I want to do it differently? What if I want to make it for somebody that, you know, wants a different color, that likes pink, or if I'm going to do this for, you know, make a masculine one for some reason, or one for a child, or, you know, I mean, Christmas, there's just all kinds of, you know, possibilities. And so I just wanted to point that out, that if you printed this out, and you don't even have to print it out in color, you can print it out in black and white if you want, but print it out, and then you can have it for a template. So like I said, you don't have to print out all of the pages. You can just print out the ones that you need to make the cover and to make one pocket. So there we go. We've got the little corner pockets in. We've got this that can open this way, or it can open this way, or it can just open all the way out like this. And if you did want to not put in 7 pages, and let's say you want to put in 5, you can do that. You just have to end on an odd number so that it will work properly. But there you go. So let me close this up, and I'm going to grab the final piece that I'm adding to this, and I will be done. And I hope that you have enjoyed this tutorial, and like I said, you've got to go see Tina's video, and that's where you're going to get the free download for this. Okay, so I'm going to be adding a butterfly from here. There happens to be one that's just the perfect color. I'll probably have to ink the edges of it, but my daughter-in-law gave me this set for Christmas last year, and we actually celebrated Christmas in January so that everyone could get together, just timing wise. And of course, my whole world changed in February, so I really haven't got a chance to use this until now. And I don't know if I want to ink the edges or not. But I wanted to put another butterfly right there. It has a butterfly here, and I just wanted to put a butterfly right here where the closure is. And I think it looks good just the way it is. It doesn't need to be inked. So I am just going to put some glue on here. But yes, my wonderful daughter-in-law gave me a lot of craft supplies for Christmas. She's pretty awesome. So here we go. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut this ribbon down and make the bow just a little bit smaller. But I thought that was a perfect match. It's got the same colors in it. So there we go. I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you all so much for stopping by. And don't forget, I'm going to actually have the video tutorial for this linked on the screen as the video is ending, as well as below in the description box, and I believe I have it linked earlier on the screen and at the beginning of the video. And I hope you go check it out. And I mean, how can you turn down a free download that has everything ready for you and all you have to do is cut it out and put it together? So happy crafting, everyone. Bye bye.